What's going on, Fire Nation? That's your boy Rico, along my little big cousin G-Baby, and our boy Raul the Zookeeper. And we are the Friendly Fire Podcast, the hottest podcast on either side of the Mississippi. Episode 65, baby. We thank y'all for tuning in to yet another episode. So, fellas, how y'all doing today? Wellness check.
Doing very well. Late night, but doing well.
Yeah. Zoo, talk to me.
I am here. I am present.
With the trophies in the back. He had to be flexing on us one time.
Oh, look at the whole wall.
Dang, your family ain't world-class athletes, can't relate. But we have a really good lighthearted episode today. Nothing too crazy is really going on. Do we have a question today? We're gonna hop right into it.
I don't know.
Not really. Well, I guess I do.
Go ahead.
And it could lead into the ladies at the mechanic shop.
All right, let's get it.
All right, so my question of the day, and I was feeling this type of way. So I've seen a lot of videos on TikTok and mainly TikTok, and I've seen some posts on Twitter as well. So in Mexico City, I mainly seen it because I've been wanting to move back to, well, not recently, like moved like this year, but like in years to come. I've been wanting like maybe move to Mexico City for like even a year. Just try it out, see how it lives and whatnot. So I've been like looking up videos, doing stuff. But lately it's become kind of, I guess, a trend or a trending topic, I should say, of people not wanting, Mexicans in Mexico City not wanting people from America moving to Mexico City.
I have seen that. Okay.
Because, and I low-key checked. I was asking people over there, like not family members, but like the TikTok. And they said I can move there because I was born there. And they're like, nah, you straight. But it's mainly like white people that they don't want moving there. Because a lot of people that are moving there work from home. Yeah. Which is the reason they're moving over there. So they're still getting paid in US dollars. Oh. And spending their money in pesos. And $1 is 20 pesos over there. Basically, give or take on the economy. Yeah, so they're basically a type of gentrifying. Over there,
ain't no type. It's definitely gentrifying.
Because they're hiking, like, obviously they could spend more money, so they're hiking like prices and hiking up, like, obviously rent and living situations. So, and I've seen a lot of it because once again, before I used to talk about Kanye, now I talk about that money, but he just dropped a music video last week. It's obviously the song is about Puerto Rico. The main topic of the song is same thing, white people going over there and buying stuff and buying land. And the residents, the Puerto Ricans there, don't have light. They don't have food and water, especially with the hurricanes.
Aren't they going through like another like drought or something right now? Or
what's that big ass?
Yeah, it's the hurricane that went through.
Okay.
Earlier this week, and basically, but the first places they fix is the tourist spots and the land owned by white people, obviously. And then they go after, remember Donald Trump was throwing paper towels at them and stuff. So it was so my question
Kobe.
So it obviously is gentrifying and I could see it, but I also feel weird seeing so many posts, people being like, we don't want you in our country, because that's how Bad Bunny ends the song, saying like they need to leave, this is my land, this is my sun, this is my beach. That's how like the end of the song is. But it's like in my head it's just like what the MAGA people say to us here, but we get mad. So, and obviously it's different because here we're the poor ones and they're the rich ones. And over there, same thing, even though it's our land, we're still poor and they're coming in with rich money. But I still feel kind of weird because it's like a little hypocritical, And I mean, I really don't know how to take it, I guess.
I want to say, I'm gonna let G have it. I'm gonna say it is, but it isn't, because for the same reason you said, it would be different. So like in the situation with people coming to America, a lot of times they're coming seeking better opportunities. And one of the biggest arguments that white folks or people who just don't like minorities were having, they're taking all of our jobs. The jobs that these minorities were taking were quote unquote the grunt work, the gardeners, the landscaping, your plumbers, your electricians, all of that type of stuff you wouldn't be doing anyway. Nobody's coming in and taking your lawyer corner office job, Barbara. Nobody's doing that. They're doing that. So when everybody said they're coming and taking our jobs, you wasn't going to be out there for 18 hours picking strawberries anyway. So like, like, how can you say that? So in like you said, in the reverse sense, I didn't know it was like that in Puerto Rico, but Mexico, it makes a lot of sense because Mexico, the government wants that money coming in. Yeah, go ahead. We'll just ignore all the ghettos and all the people that need this help so that we can build up whatever area all of these richy white people are coming to. And like you said, because they're not, because now it's not even that they're taking all of our jobs. They're coming over with their work from home jobs, raising the price of an orange to 55 pesos because they can afford it, type of deal. Like obviously it's an exaggeration, but it's essentially what's going on. So it does make a lot of sense that you get natives saying like, hey, y'all not coming over here contributing to our lifestyle, our economy, our culture. Y'all need to stay away because you're making life literally harder for us. It would be different if they was competing for the same jobs. You still working your US bank job, but now you living like a king over here because you can. And it's making what I do 10 times harder to provide for me and mine. So I understand the natives' point of view. Like, nah, if y'all not gonna contribute, if all you're gonna do is take, nah, bro, stay where you at and live middle class. You don't need to be upper class over here. Stay where you at.
Yeah.
I do think it's a little bit hypocritical. Like usually when people be like, stay out of my country, I usually side with the natives in that most part, but there's people seeking opportunity. So you can't really be mad. And you're targeting it at the wrong people. Like, why are you mad at Barbara for coming to your country to get an opportunity for a chance at opportunity? I mean, she, as a whole, the gentrifying thing is going to make everything, you know, it's going to fuck up the economy. But why aren't you pointing this attention at Bad Bunny? Why aren't you pointing it at Mello? Why aren't you pointing it at all these other stars? Like, y'all are Puerto Rican and haven't contributed. Y'all left and kept pushing. Even if y'all wasn't born there, like y'all came to America, y'all don't send the money back. Like I understand where the Mexicans come from because they come here with nothing and they're giving 75% of their check, whatever their check, back to Mexico for their family. That's helping their economy more so than it's helping them here. But it's like you have these natural born Puerto Ricans that are just movie stars, actors, and doing all this. It's just like y'all ain't contributing to nothing but want to be the first to, oh, pray for Puerto Rico. We need them. Like, when was the last time you sent water and paper towels? You know, are you trying to talk about Becky and all of them coming over there working from home? Like, Mello, with your ass, where you at? Like, you want to be Puerto Rican for life in June and July, but this hurricane come, I ain't heard a peep. You hoodie Mello. You can't do that. I mean, the natives have their point, but you can't be mad at somebody coming over. It ain't like they trying to take the government over, and it ain't like they come in there illegally. But I get the frustration where it's like you're pushing us out, you're doing this, that, and the other. But that's the natives are poor. They're not going to be able to put up the fight. They don't have nobody to fight for them.
So are you saying that the anger is misplaced?
I mean, you can be mad because it's like anything when like white folks move to your block. You're like, oh, there goes the neighborhood. But it's just like, in a way, them hiking up the prices is gonna help. Like, it's not gonna help the poor families there, but it's gonna help the economy. And that's at the end of the day what everybody's gonna care about. If you drive all the natives out, I said it in the group chat, you drive all the natives out price-wise where they can't afford it, you got Las Vegas. It's an island close to Florida, close to Cuba. It's the perfect resort. It's gonna be like Mexico. You know, but you have nobody there to fight to contribute. Isn't because Puerto Rico is a commonwealth. Somebody can buy that, like the country Puerto Rico, but there's nobody pulling their money together. Javi Baez and here, take some of my check to do this.
He might. We don't know. He might.
We don't. I'm just saying we don't know, but you don't hear about it.
Yeah, I think the toughest thing with that, and what I know a lot of Puerto Ricans, especially the ones that still live over there, is because that they're essentially owned by the U.S., but they don't get any of the rights that U.S. citizens get in regards to money being distributed, or even like I think voting rights or a seat in the House and stuff like that. It's like just like Hawaii and Alaska shouldn't be U.S. states. Like, leave these niggas alone. You got American citizens, Hawaiians, asking people to stop coming over because not only are you bringing us your sickness as if this is 1658, you're also pushing natives out of their home so they can build up another resort for you. They're begging people to stop coming. So it's like, regardless, I feel like anywhere you go where there's opportunity, there's always
Money
going to be
talk.
somebody that's getting screwed up, and money talks, because somebody's always going to be getting screwed over if it's for whatever reason. If you decide you want to go to a trip to Puerto Rico, there's a good chance that you're kicking somebody out of their comfort zone for your week of fun. And it's not to guilt nobody, because like you said, you can't knock somebody for celebrating him or herself for going over or trying to seek a better opportunity, especially if they're not educated enough to know that this is what's going on. That's on the government. That's on whoever owns this block that keeps pushing grandma out of her house that she's had for 16 generations, stuff like that.
Because if Emilio is gonna pay $5 for the Happy Meal, Tom gonna pay 10. And what you gonna take? You gonna take the 5 or the 10?
Yeah, even
That's
though
what it
Emilio
boils
been there
down to.
forever, it don't matter.
It's like Emilio got 2 weeks to come up with this 10. You can't do it. I mean, money talk, push it walk. I mean, that's just how it's been forever.
Yeah. Zoo, what you think?
I mean, like I said, I'm kind of in between, because I'm starting a new job soon, a couple weeks, and with that job, I was planning, like being here for like a year, maybe 2, like set a good name for myself, maybe move up the rank a little bit, and then asking to transfer to Mexico City and basically work the same job but over there, and obviously keep the same money.
Obviously.
But then I was thinking, like, I'm probably gonna go over there, probably get paid more than what the workers that I'm in my position. I'm probably gonna be making more than them.
Your coworkers, yeah, you probably be making more than your manager.
Yeah, probably. Essentially, they'll probably be like, "Yeah, you can move over there, but you'll have to be a manager or something." And then 2, because I was looking, like I said, at rent. I wasn't looking at rent in like Mexico City. This just kind of came up. I follow this lady. She's a Black woman who lives in Guadalajara. And
I think I've seen her page. My wife has sent me her page a few times. Like, hey, if we gonna move,
might be the move.
No, like legit. Like, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but my wife has been looking into getting her. So her mom and all of that. Her mom's siblings were born in Mexico, so they have like their birth certificates in Mexico. She's been trying to get my mom. She's been trying to get my mother-in-law to get. I don't know to get her dual citizenship, because her mom was born there. So she like, hey, like, you get yours, I can get mine, so I can move over there with no problem. So like, she's really been thinking about like potentially moving to Mexico. So I think it was Guadalajara specifically, but also Mexico, just because a lot of stuff would be easier for her. Almost the same type of deal. And then she wants to know her culture better. So it's kind of like a win-win for her. But I'm sorry, continue.
No, yeah, and I was just saying, there was probably the same lady, and because she's a teacher, and I was even looking at that because I was like, I could be an English teacher over there. The lady said, I think it's one course that you take. You basically just get your certificate, because if you know how to speak English, they're basically just teaching you how to teach English. And so that's what she does over there, and she got her certificate. And I think she said rent for a nice place is, I think, like $500 a month or $400 a month.
Oh wow!
And that's like a nice place, like that. She said like, if you want to go the cheaper route, like it's like $200 a month, which is it's less than my car note.
Man, facts.
And so it's basically, I was looking at that, I was like, dang. But like I said, I feel some type of way, because I'll go over there. I'll obviously already speak. I have dual citizenship because I was born over there. 2, I'm fluent in both languages. I can read and write in both.
Right.
3,
advantage.
Yeah, I'd be getting transferred from here, so I'd be keeping my money to over there. And like we said, the dollars and pesos, they're gonna probably have to push me up in the ranks to even do that. And it's just like a whole thing where I did kind of feel bad, because I was like, dang, I'd be feeling bad if like I'm over here just waltzing in here, like living lavish. Because even when I went over there, I was telling when I went on vacation last time, I was telling my dad, like, the seafood, because right here for one person, if you want to eat good at a seafood place, it's like $30.
Right.
Over there, I was full. I didn't finish the plate. I think I spent $7. When I was at the club over there, a shot was $1 a shot. Right here is like $8.
You was blitzed.
And I was going crazy.
I'll take 20. Keep the change.
And that was in the touristy locations. It wasn't even in like the hood or
didn't
like
even
the
push
regular
it up for the that's crazy.
So yeah, it's one of those things where I did feel bad. And I was just like, dang, like, it makes you second think, because I don't want to take advantage of like my people, even though they told me Like I said, I was asking people on TikTok like that are from Mexico City, and they were like, "No, you're fine. You're from Mexico City. You're Mexican. You like you're not." The main people they don't want, like I said, is like either white people or like even
Blacks.
other Latinos that don't speak Spanish.
Dude, I'm gonna put it like this, bro. And obviously, you can
like,
take this with you can take this with a grain of salt.
You're like,
You
I'm
should-
moving over there. With
No,
my
but
wife.
no, I mean that
So you should be good too.
it's one of those things where it's like be somebody else's misfortunes because of how the government is treating them shouldn't deter you from doing what's best for yourself at the end of the day. It's
Yeah.
not worth putting yourself in a harder situation. If an opportunity is there for you to really make some money or learn more about your culture or whatever your goal is, if you have the opportunity to do it, you deserve to do it. You're the biggest proponent of you only live once. So if
Facts.
Look
you
at
gonna
Rico
go over there and do it, do
Man,
it,
look
bro.
at him.
I'm saying, no, like legit. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, bro, like that's one of those because you never know when you'll get that opportunity again. And last thing I'm trying to hear from you 40 years from now is, dang, I should have went over there and had 16 farms and had something to give to my kids when this, that, and the third. So it's like, if you feel like that's what's best for you, and you feel like you can really prosper for yourself, prosper for your future generations, learn more about yourself, whatever your end goal is, do it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why not? And it's at the same time, you are also of that land. Like you said, it would be different if we just got Billy Bob just going over there, just trying to just wreck shop on some like hostile takeover type of stuff. You have legit reasons and emotional connections to that land. Yeah. Thank you. You got roots there. Yeah. So if anybody deserved to go over there and take advantage of the opportunities, it's somebody that was born there. Like,
you just
like,
gotta
come on.
You just gotta make sure you don't lose touch. Like,
just
you gotta
abuse it. Yeah.
You gotta give back a little bit. Like, okay, I'm over here kind of abusing the system. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give back a little bit. I'm gonna be the hometown guy. You know what I'm saying?
Get my PPP loan.
Yeah, you gotta give back to the community. See, me like me, I'm born and die here. I ain't going nowhere. And I'm like, sell out. Love it. The hood love me.
I'll be like, I still ain't gonna.
He's been going crazy on Duolingo for a reason.
Bro, what? Getting all my scores
sick of these niggas.
These niggas is tweaking. I got to get up out of here. There's more money in this language. But nah, man, you got to do what's best for you. So I do, honestly, though, to go back to the original question, I do think, obviously, people are going to abuse every system that's in power.
Right.
I'm a fan of taking advantage of whatever you can take advantage of, as long as it doesn't directly hurt somebody else. But at the same time, if there's an opportunity, I'm not going to disadvantage myself for nobody else. If you're not actively hurting anybody by doing what you feel you need to do in regards to Mexico or wherever you want to go, do it. That's how I feel personally. If it's not going to directly hurt nobody, bro, do what is best for you. You got this great job coming up, million opportunities at the door. Nigga, do what you got to do. Zoom is here for a reason. So we can figure it out.
I agree, because it's like you got to be kind of salty to get mad at somebody for taking advantage of a system that's been screwing you over thousands of years. It's like, bro, I ain't just directly uproot you from your crib. Like, I'm just getting in where I fit in. If it's an empty house next to you, why I can't get it?
Yeah.
Like, just because the government been screwing y'all over forever. Like, I'm not part of the government. I'm finna get screwed. I'm getting screwed over here. I know the struggle. Just, just don't take advantage of it. But shit, yeah, all the power to you. Shit, get the fuck up out of here.
Do what you gotta do, my boy. Do what you gotta do.
This brings me to my second. It's not even a question of the day. It's like just something I wanted to share, but I wanted to see y'all reactions, because I walked into this conversation unasked. I was almost the Karen at the restaurant, like, man, can you turn it down? I thought I was on that show. What would you do? I was like, what's going on here? So I took my car to the mechanic in the morning because I needed a new brake pads, the rotors, everything.
Quick 700.
So it was like 360. I wanted to cry. And but I took it. I was the first one there, 8 a.m. I dropped it off. It was like 15 minutes from my house, maybe 20, like depending on the red lights. And it's like, so I was like, I just walked back home, took them like a couple hours to get it fixed, and walked over there. I get there, so obviously in the morning, first one there, no one was there, it was just me. I get there, there's like 3 people in the lobby. Mind you, some lobbies have TVs, they have a radio, blah, blah, blah. This lobby didn't have anything. It's just them conversating. I'm assuming they were together, but the way they were speaking is like, why are we having this conversation here? Like, just wait till you get in the car, wait till you get home. Unless they were strangers, then it's like, why are we having this conversation at all? There's no TV. It's like it's not even on the news. Like, you like comment on it or whatever. But I think they started by what I got the gist of it, because I had my AirPods on, so either they didn't care that I was there or they just thought I was listening while I was waiting to pay for my car, basically. It was like 3, they were all Puerto Rican, and it was based, that's what I'm assuming they're all together as well. But they were talking about the whole the Texas governor who sent all the Venezuelan people to Kamala Harris's house. And so they were basically talking about that. But then, and I was like, okay, I get them, because they were mad at like the government. They're just messing around with people, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, I'm with y'all there, like when just eavesdropping or whatever. And then the conversation derailed. This lady started going on a rant. She was like, yeah, that's why, like, she just brought in black people out of nowhere. She's like, yeah, that's why, like, black people always try to pull the race card that we were slaves, blah, blah, blah. She's like, we're Puerto Rican. We were slaves too. We were just slaves to Spanish, not to white people. And you don't see us telling everybody that. And she's like, that's why I make sure my kids know that we were enslaved too. So if like black people ever try to pull that card on them, they could like reverse Uno basically and be like, well, we're the slaves too. And it's like,
we was kings.
And I was like, why are we having this conversation? Where did this stem from? Because like I said, it was like chill at first. They were talking about like some newsy thing that did happen, but like I said, there's no TV, there's no news, radio where they could have heard this at.
There's
so
no reason for this conversation to happen.
Yeah, at the mechanic of all places. And then, like I said, she just went on a whole rant about like how like I guess black people. And I was gonna say something, but I was like, bro, it's 3 against 1. I'm just here for my car. I'm already about to drop 360. I was like, I just want to go home. I just walked 20 minutes.
Larry David.
And I was like, that's why I messaged in the group chat. I was like, yo, like, where's this energy coming from? Like, why are people beefing? Like, you have something to tell us?
Like they raised good points. I didn't want to jump in. There were good ideas all around,
Black folks be quick to draw that card.
It is. I was like, where did that even come from? From like white people sending these Venezuelans over to like blacks and Puerto Ricans and being enslaved and whatnot.
Because realistically, I think it does happen sometimes, but a lot of other minorities are quick to, like they were doing, remind black people that they weren't the only ones that dealt with the slave trade. And the issue is, it's weird when you make that argument, because it's like, y'all gotta peep. We all came from Africa. The issue is where we got dropped off at. Some places just had more shade than others. Some places just had
a little bit more sun.
Just a little bit more sun. So it's like, it's one of those, like, when you really go out of your way to, like, the only people who shouldn't be talking about something like this is like the Irish. Like, we're not about to sit here and let an indentured servant jump into this conversation. Like, no.
Right.
No. You got to sleep cot in a bed. You had to work a couple of hour shifts and you was good. So it's like,
you 2 nickels. We didn't get none of the nickels.
We didn't get Nathaniel. We didn't get the 40 acres and the mule afterwards or nothing. So I'm not trying to hear that. But yeah, I think that's a lot where it comes from. It's just that a lot of people feel that black people pull the slavery card too quick or a lot when it comes to certain topics. And it's like,
but it can always be traced back to it.
That's where I was going. It's like, when you wonder, it'd be something as simple as why black folks are lactose intolerant. I'm just coming up with that.
Because of the whites, man.
They'll do like the web and be like, oh, because of X, Y, and Z. You mean to tell me because of segregation and slavery? Yes, that's why. It'd be the stupidest thing that you end up having that you can link back to racism and slavery. And it's like, we don't just be coming up with this stuff. It is in the history books.
It's because you don't have to, like, when you go make an argument and you have to go back so many points. Mm-hmm. It's just because everybody's like, oh, that's always y'all excuse for everything. But I'm like, but that's the reason for everything. like
coming up with, I think, you know what? The biggest thing, and I know, because even black people are a victim to this. I think we as human beings I know we as human beings grossly underestimate just how bad slavery was.
You took the words out.
That's the big. We only have movies can only tell so much.
Right.
A lot of the stuff that we have either heard or learned in regard, like I didn't realize until a couple months ago that his false teeth, George Washington's false teeth, were slave teeth. He yanked them out of his slave's mouth, and he made.
Because when you're a kid, they tell you they were wooden.
Yes.
Because I remember that, like even in cartoons, they would show their wooden teeth or whatever.
Yeah.
And now you're grown, and you're like, oh.
It was that dude walking around making the puppets out of the black kids. When they
used to eat slaves. Like people don't realize how bad it was. And black people ourselves, like, okay, we saw roots and was like, oh damn, okay, you got his foot chopped off. No, it was much, much worse. It's a lot more
mild.
time.
It's mild compared to what actually happened.
Yeah, so it's like, because us as black people don't even can always understand how bad it was. We really can't expect other people to understand it. So when you get the certain few that are quick to be like, well, no, realistically, this is due to racism or slavery X, Y, and Z. Oh, well, that's always where you go to. You don't even have a shadow of an idea.
It's a domino
of how bad
effect.
It got. Like, come on now.
It's the domino effect. Like, what kicked off the crack epidemic? You could trace that all the way back to slavery. You could trace everything all the way back to slavery.
We don't just be pulling that out of our wazoo. Like it's folks in the South are still poor due to stuff in slavery. And speaking of poor people in the South, Brett Favre decided to steal millions of dollars from the welfare program to give his daughter a volleyball court for whatever college she goes to.
I think Southern Mississippi.
Him and the former governor of Mississippi plotted with some woman or whatever to basically steal the welfare from the poorest state in the country.
Yeah.
The poorest state in the country, guys.
Shout out Coffeeville.
Shout out, and literally, like, I go down there, and I'm not expecting, like, I don't judge. It is what it is. Everybody's situation is different. But when you see like what they got to deal with, like we made the jokes, where Coffeeville specifically got like 2 traffic stops, 2 traffic lights.
Yeah.
And then you don't get no real signs until you in Grenada, which is like the closest thing they got to a downtown. And so
there's a hotel and a Sizzler out there.
Yeah, and a show. Like, so you go out there and it's like, okay, this is what they got to deal with. And then you find that on top of that, you got people who have money. Brett Favre was in the league for 28 years, got 1,000,001 different sponsorships,
Wrangler,
Levi's, Icy Hot, Copperfit, and you still got to steal $5 million from the poor? Like, bro.
You spend your own money.
Come on, man.
If you spend your own money, they ain't gonna pay it back.
So it was infuriating. It was like, it was one of those things that when I heard it the first time, I was like, what? Like, I was like, okay, rich folks do fraud for whatever reason all the time. I wasn't even thinking about that. But when they was like, no, he was legit stealing funds, I'm like, bro.
Yeah. And the only
like,
one really who went off on him in the media is Shannon Sharp that I saw. But I read something that the reason ESPN hasn't really been covering it is because they're trying to stay out of politics now, ever since the whole Jamel Hill shenanigans happened. So that's why they're not, even though it is a sports star, technically linked to the government, they don't want to talk about it. So that's why the only ones who really talked about it was like Shannon Sharp and like Skip.
So they can have 18 segments on Ime Udoka dicking down half of the Boston Celtics female staff, but a Hall of Famer,
Brett Favre,
somebody who changed the game, one of the pioneers of football, they can't talk about that because a governor was involved. That's what be killing me about stuff like this. It's like the narratives that people want to pay. And we can talk about the Ime Udoka thing now. And I wasn't one of those people who was so, because I'm gonna get my jokes off. When the whole Ime Udoka thing happened, I got my jokes off. But with that happening, and people were like, oh, well, y'all talking about this more than the Brett Favre thing. True. I had to sit back and like, you know what? They do have a point because, like we said, ESPN, they're gonna pick on the black man cheating on the black woman in this super white organization. But it's something that's literally harming people. preventing them from being able to put food in their kids' mouths. And
Not just people, black people.
Yeah.
You see why they don't care.
It's crazy. Which leads into look at the transitions.
Yeah, we out here. Fast break.
Showtime Lakers right here.
I can touch on it real quick because I know you guys haven't seen it, but the whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing.
Go ahead.
I'm on episode 8. I had just started episode 8 in like 5 minutes when we started here. And basically, so the thing that they're pushing, well, they're not really pushing. They've been touching in the show was that the reason he was able to kill so many people was because he was basically a white man in a Black and Latino neighborhood, and the majority of the people he killed were Black and Latino, gay men to be exact. So, because like I've said in the group chat, this man got
double
caught.
Homicide, basically. Yeah,
he got caught in every single murder so far. Like I think we're like halfway through his murders right now, or maybe a little bit over in half. He got caught in everyone. A police officer, the neighbor, the grandma, everybody and their mom caught him because, you know, like if you guys don't know anything about Jeffrey Dahmer, but he would like to eat them.
Yeah,
basically
he was them in the fridge.
Yeah, so everyone could smell it. The police saw the trash bags like with the body parts, and they were like, he was like, oh, it's just leaves, and I was doing yard work, and then it was like a bunch of shenanigans that like everyone was believing him, and I don't even know why he got thrown in jail for one because he did I guess he was trying to kill the boy, but the boy got away, and basically he went to jail for 1 year, and the judge basically told him like, oh, you remind me of my son, so I'm going to give you a year, but technically Monday through Friday he could leave jail to go to work.
What?
And then come back. Yeah, it was just shenanigans after shenanigans. And actually I'm on the episode where Reverend Jesse Jackson shows up.
Oh wow.
and yeah, he's throwing the whole thing, and one of the cops is like, this is like, are you racist basically because you're mainly killing Blacks and Latinos? And he's like, no, it's like I'm just poor, so I live in an area where Blacks and Latinos live because that's all I could afford, you know, in the poorer area of Milwaukee, blah blah blah. And like all the white people believe him because like, oh yeah, he is poor. He's a single guy living at, I think he's like a butcher or whatever, which is like crazy that he's a butcher and he's doing that. But and it's basically they're all like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Basically, it's like no one's putting the pieces together that it's like a racist act or like specifically targeting Blacks and Latinos, except the Black and Latinos in the show. But all the white people are like, nah, man, he's just a poor guy he's just a wacky guy. Basically the whole way through. Yeah, I'm on episode 8 right now, and like I said, Jesse Jackson just showed up basically and they're telling him to leave, like the police, because they're like, you're just gonna start a race war. And he's like, well, this is basically like, this man's been killing 20 people. He like, not to spoil too much, but one of the one of the Asian boys got away, and the police brought him back because Jeffrey Dahmer was like, oh, that's my boyfriend. But he was a 14-year-old kid. Jeffrey Dahmer was like at 30. And it was like, eh. And the neighbor was like a Black lady who kept calling him. She like, because she hears every murder. She's her neighbor. And it's like, you know, those paper thin walls. And she's called every single time she kills someone. And then in one of them, the police is like, well, she's like, there's a man being killed in the next door, blah, blah, blah. And the police officer, like through the phone, and the phone operator is like, well, can you go make sure before we send someone out? And she's like, no, I'm not gonna make sure. Like, I'm not gonna show up and like.
Like he's mid-murder. Like
mid-murder, like, hey, bro, you doing what oh yeah, he is. All right, y'all should come.
Like that's how my man make the phone call. Yeah. You gonna
kill me? She says after that, she goes like, this is like my 50th time calling you guys because like this man's murdering people every day, or like I'm suspecting. And then the cop was like, well, if you're calling 50 times, how are we supposed to know when it's a real emergency? And it's like, bro,
like answer the first call and you.
Bro, folks is, you know what? But that all reminds me, and I know I've seen the movie. I don't know you guys, but the Zac Efron Ted Bundy movie, the whole, like, obviously that was a real story, but like he had droves of women like saying, no, there's no way he could do this. Look at him, he looks like, he's such a handsome, charismatic guy. There's no way he was out here putting up triple double numbers with all these women. And it was like the craziest thing that they just refuse to believe white man could do these evils. And it's like when it comes to whether it's murder or whether it's fraud or whatever it is, it's like people, they want to see what they want to see. And if there's a black man, black woman doing anything even somewhat similar or not similar at all, but it's just crazy enough to cause a distraction, they'll focus on that before they focus on the real problem at hand.
Right.
The whole thing with Ime Udoka, the crazy thing with that is that the Celtics themselves leaked this information out. This is a private matter. You having an issue with this guy. If you saying, hey, you're not supposed to be out here smashing your employees, forget the infidelity thing. We have a strict policy about you having an affair with an employee. This is something that you're supposed to handle indoors. If you're not going to fire the man, you might as well not suspend him. You give him a fine and you give him a fine and you keep it inside. Or even if you do suspend him, like Stephen A. Smith said, you just let everybody just guess what the reason was. Oh, he got into a fight with somebody. He did this. I ain't gonna hold you. When I first heard it, I'm like, ain't no way in the world he got in trouble for messing around with some. And lo and behold, we got Woj coming out with cryptic messages and Shams dropping bombs. We got Matt Barnes driving like
apologizing.
He ain't seen a ghost. Reminder for those who may not be aware, Matt Barnes is a former NBA player who one time drove 90 miles to beat a current or at the time teammate behind for sleeping with his ex-wife while his kids was around. This is a man who was unhinged, who was getting in fights, suspended, all of that type of stuff. And whatever news report he heard, whatever details he heard about the Ime Udoka situation was so extreme that he was like, prayers to everybody involved.
From a fellow whipped person. You hurt a woman's feelings. You hurt a woman's feelings. You hurt her feelings. And we talked about it before with the what's his face? Miles Bridges thing. You hurt a woman's feeling. There's a lot of women writers and reporters that are going to talk to you about the Celtics victories and, oh, you guys got a big game against the Warriors, a rematch. How am I going to talk to you? You're a known cheater. Yeah. You made her me alone. You hurt her.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel comfortable around you.
That's now, what I'm saying.
Every time you look at me, I feel away now. You're undressing me with your eye. Yeah. That's where we're at now.
Yeah.
You got what was that, Senator or House of Representatives dude do a whole
he's like, bro, you are a sitting House representative. What are we doing?
What he won't, because he's a sitting House representative.
Like, bro, have you ever shot that shot before a day in your life? He was like, well, shoot, ain't nobody else gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Hold on, let me see if I can. I want to find his.
It's Nia Long. I fell in love with her on Fresh Prince.
Oh man,
it's crazy. He took them to the finals, and now he finna miss a whole season.
A whole season
for some bedroom activities.
That's what I'm saying. The whole thing don't make sense from a business perspective. If you are the Celtics, and this is the guy that just got y'all to the finals, and y'all just added a great point guard as well as bringing everybody back. Y'all didn't lose anybody. This is a chance to potentially run it back.
And you fire your coach.
He did something so egregious that you essentially gonna take a year off of your best players' primes because he has to be punished. He has to. You might as well have fired him. That's what I'm saying. So whatever the thing is, this is something that should have either A, stayed indoors, B, you don't punish him. You got to do something. You need to go to a sex therapist or something.
You know what it is?
But what you
it's think? Getting ahead of the bullet. Because if you hide it for a season and it comes out, the whole Boston organization got to step down. Because you hid it. You knew and you hid it.
Yeah.
So you have to jump ahead of it. It's us or you. And of course, it falls on the black man.
Yeah. It's that whole thing.
It's Boston.
Because it's like
he
wasn't. But it's like the fact, one, he's dumb for letting, but even forget about him. Take him out of the equation. It's just so much like going on because it's one of those things where if you don't suspend them for the whole year, you let this thing leak out, right? So if you don't suspend them, then like you said, every single, and it's still gonna happen. Like it's inevitable for the rest of his career now. That what's about to happen is that anywhere he goes, if it's training camp, whatever, they're gonna ask about the distraction that the coach has caused. That's very rare for the coach to be the reason for the distraction. Then you got, if they don't do well this year, well, it was because of the coach's distractions and all that, this type of stuff. If they win well with this interim head coach, we don't need Udoka no more. He can go.
Yeah,
he was the one holding us back. But take him to horny jail. We don't even need him no more. So it's like there's no way the whole, like, this is going to be such a cloud over this year, and you get free agents coming. They didn't sign up for this. They coached to be some type of freakazoid. I came here to hoop. What are we doing?
It should have been handled, like I said, for misconduct. They should have just stayed at that. If you want to suspend it for half the season for having sex with employees, it wasn't like, I don't know if he was having sex with them at halftime, but I mean, it is what it is. But the Nia Long thing, she shouldn't have been brought up in there to begin with, because now you're taking it extra personal. You're adding media to it. Everybody knows Nia Long. She can never go into the Boston Gardens again. Anytime he's on the coach, they're gonna get Nia a chance. Anytime you're gonna get him. You're gonna get him. Anytime somebody makes a mistake, Nia, you already know it's coming. Why
they're gonna play boys? They're gonna play Fresh Prince boys every single show at the rival stadium. That's the intro.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, she can't go nowhere. It's gonna be. You added her to this mix for what reason? Stuff that happens in the bedroom. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing. None of them staffers that he slept with shooting a jump shot or nothing.
True.
What this got to do with me coaching this team? Give me the fine, slap me on the wrist, whatever. But like, to make it this grand, like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And like you said, it makes us speculate because they haven't gave out reasons. Because now it makes you think, oh, maybe he was like abusing them.
Right.
But we don't know. That's just us inferring. So now we're looking at this dude, especially like you said, Matt Barnes coming out, and Malika Andrews is fighting everybody, and their mama is fighting Stephen A. is fighting Kendrick Perkins on show. Like, we don't know what happened, blah blah blah. So now she's making it seem like
it's worse.
This dude was just like telling them to get in line and whatnot.
Yeah.
G
baby, I sent y'all the tweet. Can you read the tweet that that State Senator Jamal Bowman said, please?
Jamal Bowman sending nothing but love to Nia Long. We're not letting the man who didn't recognize the luxury her presence was dim all her beauty and glory. Matter of fact, we need a Nia Long national holiday. One for famous Black folks and one for me.
Bro said, forget it. I might as well. We here.
Man, if you got a holiday anytime you want, just sign the paper.
Just sign the paper.
Martin Luther who?
Come to my state and I got you. Come, I will put this into effect tonight. All you got to do is slide.
School is canceled tomorrow.
You, as many letters as in your name, that's how many days they're getting off.
What state does he represent?
I want to say New York.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
A New York.
New York.
Jamal. Oh hell yeah.
Jamal Bowman. Jamal with two A's at the end.
Bowman. Yeah, that's Black.
Yeah.
Jamal
at least it was
Bowman.
At least it was New York, because it, like, if it was like a Delaware, it's like, what does Nia Long have to do with Delaware? You know?
Why you gotta compliment this man's wife like that? Like, nah, we got issues now.
Crazy. He said,
and he has a wife, I think.
I bet you he do. Most of these senators do.
You can't be offering up holidays to my woman, whether I cheated on her or not, bro. You gotta see me. You gotta see me.
Oh, that's funny.
That is.
Oh no, he definitely has a wife.
Is she Black? Oh, this nigga.
He was like, dear Twitter. He said, dear Twitter, I don't need to shoot shots. I'm good, homie. I don't know if y'all can see y'all see it?
Oh, God. Oh, man. She's ambiguous. Let's say that.
Nigga saw Friday for the first time, lost his mind.
Oh, man. She was in that movie for 20 minutes.
He could never watch another movie with Nia Long in it without his wife, like, saying something.
I'm gonna be like, man, you cost Jason Tatum a ring.
How dare you? The nerve.
The
But
nerve of
no,
this.
that whole thing is crazy. People just been acting up. Speaking of sexual deviance, Adam
Doc
Levine
Rivers.
is
Oh, I thought you were going.
Doc Rivers. We can talk either one. Both of them. They out there just
Oh,
performing the triangle. First off, Doc Rivers, he just found out that Twitter can see your likes, and apparently he was liking a lot of sex vids. I didn't watch his likes because I heard there was some stuff in there. And I was like, nah, bro. But I think he made his page private, or he like unliked everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. It got bad.
Even worse.
Someone, I went on Twitter and I clicked Doc Rivers, trending, and he had already unliked everything, but someone posted the screenshots. Yeah, you made the right choice, not to an investigative.
Yeah.
It's even worse, bro. You put it on Twitter, everybody saw it.
Everybody.
Now Austin Rivers. Now what's he gonna do when Patrick Beverly's putting the clamp on him?
Man.
So
and talking trash.
So dad into that's crazy.
30. Austin Rivers finna go off this season.
Paul George like
top 5 MVP.
Paul George looking like, yeah, this is why I left your daughter. This is crazy.
Like, you shit, what got into you? Just Dominique,
Man, all the Chicago niggas gonna be like, is that what's going on in Maywood? Oh my God.
No, it's not. No, it is not. You don't claim him.
It's no, not at all.
No, I ain't seen him around here.
Oh man.
That was after Maywood, after he left.
That was after, yeah. That's New York. New York corrupted him. But from one sexual deviant to another, Adam Levine is in news because I guess his mistress got on TikTok and basically leaked all of their messages over the years. She had basically been sleeping with, which is she used I was young and naive, whatever. Anyway, the funniest thing about all of this is that Adam Levine, white people sex very strangely. I'll just put it like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh
like
yeah,
that cock.
so
Yeah.
epic hot, so hot. Like, oh, all right, buddy, all right. But the weirdest thing about all of that is that his wife, who he was sleeping with while he was sleeping with his mistress, is pregnant with his son, and he messaged her after months of them not talking. I guess she ghosted him. I forgot how the story went, and asked her if it would be okay if she called her son, gave his son her name. Her name is like Sumner. He was like, is it okay if I name him Sumner? And so she was like, yeah, I gotta leak all of this. This is crazy. And so now people are looking at Adam Levine like, are you okay? You're not
them
right
things
in the head.
Them things read like the skits off Marshall Mathers LP. Getting Kniff over here. Oh, what is you doing?
Nah, bro, something it looked like. So it's weird. Like, I think Tiger Woods still has the strangest DMs from a rich person. However, between Adam Levine, Jeff Bezos, and other white people stuff that is leaked, I don't know what it is with they like swag when they shooting they shot. Is it just
wowzers?
So this is gonna have to work. Like, golly gee willikers, like I don't understand. Oh, not that.
Man, I don't know what's going on over there.
I don't know what's going on in rich white people world, but they don't know how to sex. And it's whenever they DMs or whatever get leaked, it's like
it's always the worst in the world. It's a terrible read.
Yeah. So it's like this. I know this didn't work on you. He's just rich. And so it's like I don't be feeling bad. Like when she was talking, I'm like, he's clearly just super rich and super famous. Because there's no reason none of this should have worked on you, man. What are we talking about here?
Whooped by the woman community by a black.
I'm not super shocked because that song, "What Moves Like Jagger," I never liked that song.
You don't like that song?
And that song,
I would get groovy to that one.
And that song correlates with this text message perfectly. Like to the scene. Like this isn't facts. This isn't heard him say Adam Levine. This is new age Adam Levine.
You had a hook on that.
Yeah, looking at this, it's like, how did they ever link up? Because the swag he had with Heard Him Say, it just like, I don't know.
I'm seeing her in person. He must have got her right after that recording session.
Had to, because what in the world? Oh God, that's funny. White people are funny. Y'all need to calm down with they need to go to the same sex therapist that they trying to put Deshaun Watson in.
And
Because
who's we talking about? Ty Dolla $ign too, or was that Trey?
what he do?
No, I'm
Trey
talking about
Songz.
Trey Songz.
Trey Songz.
Y'all all need a class.
All of them just need classes. They need to just go
Dream team. That's
you need to graduate. You can't even take a class. We need you to go through a whole 4-year course at this point. Because goodness gracious, what do they got
you need to take some damn romance classes or something. Because
you need a timeout because this is too much.
Like, what's to you, bro?
Is everything all right? Like, you're scaring the hose.
You type that out. You know how many steps it took to type out G Willikers? Like, come on, bro.
You sent it.
You sent it. Confident
and you and knew it was gonna work. Like, hey, worst come to worst, I'm about to woo her with these Jagger moves.
Enough money for it to work.
Man, money
That's
talks.
You do.
BS walks. Now. Oh man, what else do we got on this wonderful lighthearted podcast?
We'll take it to Zoo, AEW. Let us know about the Blacks.
Oh yeah, the Blacks are taking over AEW. Zoo.
We had golf. We coming from wrestling.
We
took tennis. We've been had basketball.
Watch out, Favre. I'm coming for volleyball.
No, it started with obviously West Side Guns always rapped. He's had wrestling intros as his intros and Fire Album. So his made sense. And then Fab and DJ Wu Kid, I'm like, all right, that makes a little bit of sense. Now I've heard Fab throw a couple wrestling lines in there. He's older, so he probably, he grew up on Hulk Hogan and whatnot. but then Trina, and I'm not saying she can't like wrestling because maybe she does, but she threw it in there and she's throwing slaps and she's kicking. She didn't have a match, but she attacked someone. And I'm like, all right, what's Trina doing on this show? Then Cardi B is tweeting. Cardi B is always like, she does do a lot of like wrestling and like she does tweet about wrestling. I've seen her before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like she's actually watching now and like engaging, sharing clips. And I'm like, I know this dude's a billionaire, the owner of AEW. He also owns, his dad owns the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, how much money is this man? Action Bronson wrestled the match. I didn't watch it, so I don't know if it was good. I can't confirm nor deny. But I have no idea what's going on. I feel like half the roster is wrestlers. I mean, rappers or artists of some kind. And then you got WWE. Yeah, Bad Bunny and WWE, Pat McAfee, Logan Paul. So it's just like you don't even got to be a wrestler anymore. You just gotta throw in, which is funny because I want to say earlier this week they do like these like videos with the wrestlers, kind of like in any sport where like the media team has them do trivia or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the wrestlers do trivia from a video game from 2002. It's called the SmackDown Here Comes the Pain or whatever. And like naming wrestlers from the roster back then in 2002. So it's not even that far. Like all these wrestlers that are wrestling now, they were at least at the very minimum 12 years old, 13 years old when this is going on. Mm-hmm. But it exposes the real wrestlers that are wrestling fans since kids and the wrestlers who just got in because they were already athletic. And they're just like, let me do this wrestling thing because I heard you could make big money on it. And it's like half of these wrestlers, they'll know all the wrestlers, and then half of them are like, I know who Triple H is because he's still my boss. I don't know any of these other. I know The Rock, he's in movies. And then they draw blanks on all these. And I've seen the WWE now because I follow some college athletes on Instagram. WWE actually goes to colleges and they give just athletes tryouts. Like you could be a volleyball athlete, swimmer, whatever. They just want athletes because I feel like maybe a lot of people don't want to be wrestlers as much, especially since they wrestle 24/7. They don't get paid as much as I think the highest paid person is in WWE is like Brock Lesnar. I think he gets like $4 million a year. So it's not even
that's
super and he's a huge name. He's only getting paid for, and so they're going to colleges now, just recruiting college athletes. It's like you're not gonna make it to the NFL, bro. You want to be famous and on TV. You might try to give this wrestling thing a shot. Basically, like the army going to high school, trying to prey on people.
What do you think of the shift that they're taking? Because I mean, obviously, I know we talked about it a couple months ago when you were saying some of the old heads was upset that like wrestlers didn't continue to hate each other once the cameras went off. They were Twitch streaming and all of that stuff together. And we was all like, well, they're not doing cocaine 24/7 like y'all was doing back then to get through a match. Like it's more money to be made elsewhere. And it doesn't make any sense for them to continue to, you know, try to.
And plus, at this point, we all know it's predetermined or scripted. So it's like, because you still see the people in comments, like when Bleacher Report shares wrestling stuff, the top comment is always like, y'all know this is fake, right? It's like, yes, we all know this is fake. Like, we're just in it for the entertainment. It's like a TV show. It's like a weekly TV show that you see.
Yeah.
So that you keep up with, Grey's Anatomy or whatever. And you just keep up for the drama. And then sometimes you just try to predict who's going to win based on how the company is going and whatnot. Sometimes you get shocked because you're like, oh, I wouldn't have gone with him winning, because you know they choose who's going to win. So it's one of those things. They don't have to really keep up. Oh, I hate him in real life and whatnot. That's why when like the whole CM Punk thing, he's suspended indefinitely. They're saying he might not return again because he got into an actual fight with people in the back.
They're like, hey, we not trained for this. We this is real blood.
He's a UFC fighter. Well, even though he lost his 2 matches, 5 years of UFC training that he did is more than the wrestlers.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
From reports, it was 3v1. CM Punk was by himself, and he won the fight. Like he knocked all of them out.
Good play.
The reports were,
you know, we was just kidding, right? Hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah. Fact. So it's one of. So when something like that happens, now it's been this happened almost a month ago, and it's still like trending news in the wrestling community because it's like, yo, a fight, and then you got like older wrestlers like Chris Jericho and like Undertaker and like people doing Booker T. So like we used to fight in the back all the time because, you know, these people actually sometimes they hated each other, and like you guys were everyone was on drugs like crazy. So, you know, people were like, remember that like a year ago or so we did that where we kind of watched that documentary where Brock Lesnar was wrestling that dude on the plane. And it's like these dudes were actually getting in fights all the time, but it wasn't big news back then because one, it didn't really leak, and if it did, it's like, well, the wrestlers hate each other, so they're supposed to fight when they see each other off on site, supposedly.
It builds the story.
Yeah. But now it's like, since we all know it's scripted, when there's like an actual fight, it's like, oh, like suspend him, like he's being unprofessional, he should never return again. And that's basically what's happening with Mr. CM Punk.
What was cause I know he got, I watched it, but obviously, you know, you're a little bit more well-versed. What he's upset with like a specific person, and it's kind of like leaking over until a bunch of other stuff, or like, what's going on?
So like, to make it short, when he left WWE, he went on this podcast and exposed like the WWE, they were making him wrestle with a staph infection. The doctor that CM Punk accused sued him and sued CM Punk's friend, who was also a wrestler, because it was the wrestler's podcast, for like defamation. So then after that, CM Punk, who was his friend, sued CM Punk because he's like, I lost money and I don't make anywhere near money as you. And even though they were boys, it's like CM Punk, like, I guess, like felt betrayed or whatever. So CM Punk, like, it was like a whole bunch of suing back and forth. So now that wrestler wrestled in AEW, and when CM Punk came, they stopped using him on TV, the other wrestler. And then eventually they let his contract run out and they didn't re-sign him. So some of that wrestler's friends were like, hey, CM Punk just came and basically made him fire this other guy who's been here from the start. But those three, the ones he got into a fight with, they're also executive vice presidents of the company, and they're wrestlers. They do both. And that's what CM Punk had a problem with on the whole that media thing that they do, because AEW likes to do media like to make it seem more real, I guess. And so that's when he went off on them, and that's when they confronted him backstage 3v1, and that's when CM Punk knocked them all out. So but the thing is, they were all champions, so they had to vacate four championship belts, the tag team titles, and the CM Punk was like the world champion or whatever.
Wow.
So then now there's no champions, and they had to makeshift this random ass tournament.
Bro said, "Is this your king?"
Title.
He walked out with their belts like they was mink coats.
Fact.
It was good. That's crazy though. It's one of those things where because I think because I know you were saying beforehand, like when they had to distinguish between whether it was sport or it was entertainment, and I think this is just the athletes kind of trying to take their power because it's like, yeah, we putting our lives on the line like every day, like we're glorified stunt doubles essentially, and you guys are going out of your way to either not pay us or mess with our storylines because you got your feelings hurt with X, Y, and Z, or like you said, you got us playing with staph infections and all types of crazy stuff. So yeah, I can see why more and more are looking to make revenue outside of the ring or get more guaranteed money in the ring. Cause it's like, you're not gonna have me doing this 25 years. Like, what's his name? Keep going back. And I'm afraid every time he go back, Ric Flair, every time he say he announced he doing another, I'm afraid it's gonna be his last match ever.
Because Ric Flair don't never just win fights. Like, he always be getting thrown around, smashed through tables.
Yeah.
It's like you
looking
win.
Like he a tomato. Like, bro, come on now.
Like, you 78, bro. Like, stop.
Yeah, so because like with him, it's basically he's still like from the old school. So it's like it doesn't make sense for them to beat me because I'm an elderly man. So I'll just come out here and y'all could whoop on me for X amount of time. Blah blah blah. My dog came in the garage.
Your dog said, "Hey, you doing too much talking."
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting because wrestling seems to be back into the spotlight. Once it hits, I feel like once it hits the TikTok likers like real hard, then we'll really start seeing some big money in there.
I'm already seeing something. There's this guy. He's like he's funny, but like he has like certain segments just dedicated to talking about like wrestling and like who he thinks should win whatever, or certain narratives he's tired of seeing. Like he like breaks it all down to like a science. So
I'm
like
talking about the little leagues.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
When you got the TikTok league of wrestling and you got all these guys, oh, there might be some money in here. Like that's when the buzz will start going up.
That's gonna be interesting.
And like I shared with you guys today, like it was mainly jokes, but the whole like women that watch wrestling, because usually when you look at shows, like you just think it's like, oh, it's just guys that watch wrestling, or guys that, you know, it's kind of like I've seen TikTok go viral where it's like, what's worse, a guy who watches wrestling or a guy who watches anime. Like I've seen those, and then but then like in this one, it's like women watch wrestling, and then you click on it, and it's like bountiful, like fine chicks. And it's like, where y'all at backing us up when we're getting attacked on TikTok?
They're like, couldn't be
That's
me.
like that thing. Like, oh, you watch wrestling? Ugh.
The nerve.
Right. Nerd.
All right, what else we got?
We could talk about the racism not existing anymore, or being failed.
So like we talked about last week with all the backlash that Halle Bailey was getting for Little Mermaid, her boyfriend, rapper DDG, apparently went on a podcast. Went on a podcast.
Yo, bro, always, bro.
He went on a podcast and stated that he didn't know, he wasn't expecting her to get such a backlash. Like he didn't realize how bad racism was until she was getting all of this. I thought Martin Luther King canceled all of that stuff out. I'm sorry, man. I can understand you not understanding how bad racism is until it affects you or someone close to you. That's one thing. But to sit there and say you thought Martin Luther King in 1964 canceled all of this out, there's a disconnect here. There's a lot of there's a lot of in between.
40 years of life.
Almost 70. There's a lot of in between that we are that
I'm saying 40 because of 2000. Yeah. Just say if he was born at least in 2000. Bro, you haven't seen none of the news headlines. Not one. You don't know what the hell's going on.
I say over the last 10 years, you just been ignoring all of these black people just dying.
Because I mean, Marvin must have failed. He don't know what's going on.
He came out. He said it was sarcasm. So I don't know. Bank you could put on that, but that's what he said. And then Haley actually just came out today, maybe like an hour or two ago. I saw this. She said that she wishes there wasn't as much negativity in the world. But with her, I could be like, oh, maybe she's just talking about the mermaid thing.
Yeah.
Instead of this. But But yeah, I was shocked. I thought it was a fake headline, but I saw the video earlier.
For
And I was
the
like, oh no,
longest,
he
I'm like,
actually said it.
there's no way. So I mean, hopefully it was just a joke or sarcasm because nobody's that dumb, I would think. And I don't think I ain't gonna hold you.
We'd hope.
I don't think Holly Bailey would be with somebody who's that naive to like the current events. You would hope.
I don't know. Her and
You
her
would
sister
hope.
be doing some.
Her
some funny
sister is
things.
corny. See,
thing.
okay, her sister gives off the vibes of the church girl that's finally out from under her parents' wing,
Yeah.
but she doesn't understand how fine she is. So like she's just
Like a
going
black
head,
blonde.
she's not easing into it. She's just headstrong. Just this is what I think it's supposed to be. And it's like
She's selling sex.
Yeah.
yeah, but like it's like way left. Like there's no like
It's like, what are you doing?
there's a smoothness to get to that point that I've
It's
seen
like, yeah, you look
done
good,
successfully.
but not
Yeah, it's
like you doing it wrong. You going about it wrong.
yeah. So, but that whole thing that was hilarious.
I would chalk it up to ignorance,
Yeah,
but I don't know if you that damn ignorant. You go, damn, G.
that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping it was a joke, man.
Like
But,
it was some racist stuff happened last week. Like, you see what how can you not? Like, why would you even think about some stuff like that?
very, 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 very true. Is there anything else before we get up out of here?
Say a quick prayer for Puerto Rico.
Yeah, whatever.
And
yeah, facts.
Ohio
whatever.
State looking out for LeBron James to tight end next year.
Oh yeah,
I did even say that. I was
yeah.
like,
He asked what he funny. He said, "What's the student after?" I don't know what he's trying. This is him saying he wants to go try to play with Bronny real quick. Like, hey.
But they trying to push that high school shit now so they can get in there sooner.
But see, it's weird because like the CBA, because they're up for another agreement, and a lot of people think we may end up with another NBA lockout very soon. But anyway, they're saying that they're trying to lower it back to 18, but they don't know specifically if they're going to have them come out of if they're going to still let them come out of high school, which is weird unless you're talking about trying to bring more overseas kids over here. So then it's kind of like, are you going to get more kids going overseas earlier, graduating early and going like directly overseas and then coming out their senior year? Like how? So that's
You're gonna ruin college ball.
I think they're trying to, but see, I feel like you can't completely get rid of it because there are certain players that aren't ready until they develop under a college system. It's just one of those like, okay, he or she, he needs to figure out what his game is, whether he's just going to be a facilitator, if he's an all-around player. There are a certain few players that's like, all right, y'all, you could have came. Like, I feel like somebody like a Zion would have been fine straight out of high school, or somebody like, I'm trying to think. There are high school players that would have been fine straight out of high school, but with the way, because a lot of people were saying like with these programs, like these overtime programs, these G League programs, it's messing up players' developments because you getting all 5-star recruits going to this one team, all trying to be the man.
Not enough ball.
Instead of going to the Mad Ants and going to the Windy City Bulls and spreading it out so that they can learn how to, one, play in the system, and two, play. Maybe I'm not the best player right now. You got everybody that's been the best player since they was 12 years old trying to be the best player right now and all trying to go to the draft. Like you said, it's only one ball.
They'll probably do like a G League thing where like, okay, you'll be eligible to go to the G League, like they usually do at 18. You could get drafted from the G League. So just say you play in there for 5 games, and they're like, okay, he be ready. Like a farm system. They're gonna do it like baseball.
Like like the minors.
Yeah, that's what they did with because I know Jalen Green took the college year he would have took, he just went straight to the G League. But then he was like one of the first to do it. Now everybody named mama doing it, whether it's like whatever they coming up with these teams and like someone they making like 500,000 like just out the game, which is cool, make your money. But it's like I just don't want these kids to like get screwed over to where they can't develop, because then you get with the big dogs and you can't keep up. It's like athleticism is one thing, but if you never learn to play in a system, they don't like it's eventually your talent is got to keep up with whatever system you in.
And in high school, it's just give the ball to the best player and
literally
do your thing.
Right.
And then when a coach tries teacher system here, he gets fired because it's no, we not winning. Why don't you just give the ball to so and so? You know he the best player. So it's I don't know, man. It's basketball. I enjoy still watching it. I just think that talent-wise it's at a really good place. I just think because of money, everybody's trying to rush their kid to a certain spot they may not be quite ready for. It's like another year, another 2 years, because some people do need them 2 years in college. It's just Ja Morant needed them 2 years in college. So it's like some people just need to take time to develop, and everybody's so quick to rush to the bread, which, you know, depending on the situation, I understand. But it's like, man, you could be honestly screwing him up in the long run if you're trying to win. If the goal is just to make money, do what you got to do. Right. But if you want him to be great and not out of the league in 4 years, it's like, we got to come on.
Because I saw a TikTok where it was a college athlete was saying that the gap between conditioning from high school to college is just so vastly different. Yeah, like if you're running 100%. Sprints in just high school, that's quadrupled in college, let alone in the NBA. Like LeBron's probably the fastest basketball player in high. Like if he's faster than all high school.
Yes.
Probably faster than all college players. So for you to come out of 18 being the man, oh, I dropped 34 and 15, I averaged that. In college, what is that? 13 and 5? You figure in the NBA, what is that? 8?
Yeah. Because one thing I will give these college coaches, they don't care what you really did in high school. You go to a certain system, you're gonna learn to facilitate. You get those certain few that they go to a college that's just like, all right, do you go crazy? Yeah. But like Ja Morant had to learn, okay, I need to be able to score, rebound, and pass so my team can win. And so that I can show the league, hey, I can do this. Whereas a Trae Young, even though he can pass really well, he was able to just throw up as many shots as he wanted to because there was nobody else for him with that system. You Trae Young, okay, do what you got to do. So everybody's system, like all those stars went to Duke and had to learn to work with each other. When Zion, Cam Reddish, I think it was Trey or Trent Jones went, they had to learn to work within each other. Because Coach K, like, hey, it's one ball and we gonna work to win. I don't care where y'all gonna get. I mean, like, yeah, I'm gonna get y'all in the league, but while y'all here, y'all gonna learn how to work with this system.
Right.
So
Because I think it was like Shaq or Charles Barkley who said everyone in college was a superstar in their high school.
Yes.
Like everyone in D1 college averaged 30 in high school easy on their bad nights.
Yeah.
But now you're in college, and now, like G-Baby said, those 30 turns to 15. In the NBA, like he said, turns to 8. It's like everyone in the NBA was a superstar. Like in high school. Yeah. Like all of them. Shannon Brown, Shannon Brown was
the dog.
College Proviso East.
Yeah.
And he was riding the bench in the NBA, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's all about the system and how you develop. Like who were the main superstars? Like Melo was like one of the few that was just like, okay, he's just a monster.
Yeah.
He's gonna do whatever he wants. But how many of those do we actually get? When was the last one? Zion? And how injury prone that was.
Yeah, it's just been a monster all levels. Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Like it's a few, and it's something that you gotta watch develop. So I think development is the name of the game for a lot of this. So whatever they decide to do, I just, like I said, I don't want kids getting screwed over because, you know, you get those certain few that's like, all right, you just got it. Like, I think Paolo got it. It's just like, all right, you a 6'10" small forward that can do everything just about. It's like, okay, you should have it. Like you should have it. So it's one of those things where it's like he's had that body since he was in high school. So it's like, okay, I get it with him. But it's like certain ones, it's not there yet. So like you hear, oh yeah, he went crazy in this made up league that Overtime created. Right. It's like, okay, how does that transfer to when he gets to the league? Yeah. If it transfers when he gets to the league.
And then it's how well your body holds up. Because you see how many rookies and sophomores we see just be out the league on knees is like, had they played a second, third year in college, it might have went. It might have
Mind you, a lot of them only be a year or two removed from playing 85 games in AAU.
Right.
Playing
You play
four,
ball year round.
bro. I did, man. Look, I look back. It's like I really played 4 games in one day. Like nobody decided to split this up into 2. They was like, nah, you playing 4 full-length games in one day, eating some granola bars in between.
Great. And a Gatorade. You like
get back out there. So it's basketball. Basketball is gonna be crazy. And it's like because I really don't think any other sport has had such a shift. Like football is very strict. I think it's to protect their players. It's like, look, we saying y'all not fully developed to your what is it, 20? You gotta be 20 to get to the league, 21?
I think 20. Yeah, I think you got to do 3 years in college.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like no, y'all not ready yet. I don't care what they talking about.
That's a
y'all
grown-ass man body you need to have.
that is JJ Watt on the other side of the ball. You are not ready.
You are 6'2", 195 pounds.
Soaking wet.
In these shoulder pads.
The shoulder pads is drooping off of your shoulder. Like, nah.
You're not going nowhere.
Nah. So yeah, sports is gonna be fun though. I'm looking forward to it. Anything else we get up out of here? I think that should be about it.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right. Yeah, it's getting
successful episode.
Great successful episode. I know y'all know it's getting late. We thank y'all for tuning in to yet another exhilarating installment of the Friendly Fire podcast. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, make sure you like, share, subscribe on the YouTube channel and DM us at friendly_fire on IG and Friendly Fire on TikTok. Once again, friendly_fire on IG and Friendly Fire on TikTok. Artists, if you have any artwork or any music that you want to share or get out there, email us at friendlyfire2021@gmail.com. Once again, friendlyfire2021@gmail.com. If we like the music, it goes on at the end of our podcast. If we like the artwork, it goes on that big blue, beautiful wall behind G Baby. As simple as that. On behalf of my boys, I am Rico, G Baby, Zoo, Friendly Fire. Be blessed.
Peace.
See you.